Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and welcome back to the Ginger Joe Racing Show, proudly sponsored by Oddschecker. We'll go to Joe quickly for a special offer.
Yep. So, as our viewers, you do have the opportunity to sign up to Oddschecker Unlimited, where not only will you get my racing tips, you will also get my golf tips. You will get Andy Holdings tips, a weekly preview from Road to Cheltenham, who is famously well known on Twitter, and you'll get unlimited access to all the Oddschecker grids as well. All you need to do is use the link in the description below, and then use code GJOE20 for 20% off, and you can use that annually or monthly, and that is exclusive to my viewers only.
Lovely, Joe. Thank you. Scotty, how are you? Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Glad to be finished work.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, boys. Thank you. Just finished work about half an hour ago since we started recording this, so all good to go. Got a beer here ready and getting ready for Christmas Day on the 26th.
Oh, now, lads, we're going to keep this short and sweet. We're going to go through 4 days as quickly and as efficiently as possible. So we're going to go kick on straight away with the 120 at Kempton is the quarter star novices chase over 3 miles of grade one. The favourite is the Jukebox Man at even money. Highland is 9 to 2, Mazzacchio is 5, White Rhino 8 to 1, and 14 to 1. Welcome to Catrier. Scotty, who wins this?
I took a bit of time, Jenny, in the race. I was trying to look at all angles of trying to get the Jukebox Man beat, but I haven't come down with it. And to be honest with you, I just think he wins. I know he was very exuberant at Newbury in the John Frankham. He obviously beat Masaccio, who reopposes. There's been a few shouts for him to reverse the form. I think people are just gripping onto the fact that it's right-handed and that could catch the jukebox man out. But I think he just basically jumps. He could jump right and still beat them by 6 or 7 lengths. I think he's that good. Um, I do like Welcome to Cartrees. I think he's a potential one at 14 to 1 that could run a good race, but I just don't think he's a stayer. I think he's signed no risk at all. He's just produces speedsters, a lot of 2.5 mile horses. That's the only thing that puts me off. But again, Highland, I think he's another one. I just don't think Nico is riding the best at the moment. It puts me off him. Probably better going left-handed. Won well at Cheltenham earlier in the season, but no, I'm just going to keep it simple, and I just think the jukebox man will have too much class.
Lovely. Joe?
Yeah, I do ultimately just about think the jukebox man is going to win. I'm slightly concerned the fact that he jumps left-handed all the time, and you're at Kempton, obviously going the other way round. It's not obviously going to be a helpful asset to him, and he does only have 2 lengths leeway, if you like, between him and Masaccio for when they met at Newbury. So for start, he's going to have to put in a really good jumping performance and get a very good ride to win the race. I do ultimately think he's probably going to come out on top because he may come on for the run a little bit. But again, he doesn't really have a turn of foot either. So this is where tactically I think he's going to have to be ridden really well. He's going to have to jump efficiently the whole way. Highland would have a chance here, but I think his 6 or 7 wins that he's had have all come going left-handed. So that would have to be a major concern there. And just a really quick word on White Rhino. I really, really like this horse. And it's possible that he could just do better for a better race. So I wouldn't discount him either. But ultimately, I really want the jukebox man to get the job done, and I might be overcomplicating it a little bit by looking into a few of the traits that may go against him. But provided he jumps well and he travels well, I do think he's going to have to go from the front. I will just about give it to the jukebox man, but I'm not as sweet on him now as I was a couple of days ago heading into Christmas. But I think the jukebox man does take a lot of stopping at the same time.
Yeah, I was actually going to take him on with Highland, but I saw that as well that Highland has never really run right-handed. Now he will love the ground, I will say that,
Mm.
and I think it's just between the two of them on the ground. But I think he'll just have better class, the jukebox man, and I hope he wins totally. Right, we'll move on to the race that I am looking forward to the most of. I we'll move on to Factor File and Galloping later, but this is the one I'm looking forward to the most is the 155 at Kempton, the Christmas Hurdle. The favourite, who I think is the winner. I'll let you before I'll say it. I'll start off anyway. Last team out is even money. Constitution Hill is 5 to 4, 20 to 1 Burdett Road, and 40 to 1 lump sum. I'll start off here. Constitution Hill hasn't run in a year. I think he'll need the run. Look, I see Michael Buckley come out. The horse has never really been injured. I understand that part, but last team out, I think will have just too much speed for him, and this could be the end of Constitution Hill. This is just me. I'm going to be controversial. I think, I hope, they plough into Constitution Hill on the day and get a better price on Lassie Mouth. I think she's going to have too much speed, and Constitution Hill will want to be back near his best to give her £7. I think she will beat him. Joe.
Yeah, I'm with you, James. And I think with Constitution Hill, it's all or nothing. I don't buy all of
Yeah.
this 90% nonsense. He's either fit to go or he's not, because he just sits on the bridle. He's not a horse that gets pushed out and finds a turn of foot in that sense. Obviously, he's got a lot of speed, but for me, it's all or nothing. He either wins or he's a bit of a no-show, to be honest. I like what you just mentioned there as well. Hope a lot of people just plough into Con Hill and then we get a better price on Lossie Mel. So perhaps if you are looking to back her, she's one to back on the day. And I think people are underestimating the fact that he's had colic. I find it highly unlikely that he's had such an issue and it's going to have no effect on him. Plus, like you said, he's only ran once in 12 months. He's only run once in 20 months as well at the same time. So I think this is the time now, although I've never been Lossie's biggest fan when it comes up against beating the Gowdens, but yeah, I think she's the bet here. Yeah, I could be siding with Constitution Hill in any confidence, but let me just clarify. I would love him to be back to his best. I just don't see it happening.
I agree with you there, Joe. Look, it'd be great to see him back as he is. Look, whatever, we'll all crib him and everyone likes him, but it's great to see a great horse back. But look, we'll sentimental stuff. It's Christmas and all that, but look, we're here to tip winners, and yeah, I'm with you. Lost him out. Scotty.
God, I just don't know. Um, Everything you said is perfect, the two of you. It's all or nothing. He either wins and he blows her away, or he's just not the horse he was and she wins. I'm just going to say, from a betting angle, if you're taking the even money for Lossie Mouth to beat Constitution Hill, if he does blow up and he ends up getting pulled up, the bet in the race is Burdett Road without the favourite at 11-2.
Interesting.
That is what
Massive show.
that is the only thing I can see in the race that I'd be half tempted to do, but I'm just going to sit and watch, and I might just chuck a tenner at that.
Lovely. Right, we go on to the feature of Stephen's Day, Boxing Day, is the 2:30, the King George, the Grade 1 over 3 miles. The favourite is over from Ireland for Jimmy Mangan, 7-2, Spillans Tor. 5-1 Banbridge, Grey Dawning, Ile France, 10-1 Long Press, 14's in Violin, and 16-1 Brave Man's Game. The real backer, I think, is about 20-1. Scotty, we're going to stick with you. The King George, who do you fancy?
I've spent a lot of time the last 3 days, 2 days on this race, and I think I've worked it out. I think. I'm just going to quickly analyse the horses. I think Ile France is a bleeder. That's a fact. Can't trust him. Too short. I know he was impressive last year, and if he puts that kind of performance in, he'll be very tough to beat. So I'm scratching him just on that fact. Scratching Grey Dawning slightly because I just don't know how much that Haydock race has taken out of him. That's got to have left a mark. I'm sorry. I don't care what anyone says. He's not going to come into this race and be 100%, I don't think. Envoy Allen's a popular each way choice, but again, I think he's had his chance in this race, so I don't think he can win. Corbett's Cross, I think, jumps too big. I don't think Kempton will suit him. I don't think the course he'll like. Brave Man's Game's gone. Forget about him. The Real Whacker, not good enough. And I've got it down to two. I do give Banbridge a chance. I just think he's a bit short now for me at 5-1. I'd like to see maybe if it's sevens or eights, I'd have a good each way play. But I just am not convinced about him staying 3 miles. I know he ran at Aintree, the only time over 3 miles as a novice hurdler. He was beaten quite far out that day. Don't know why. He's obviously come on a lot since then as a chaser. Long Press, again, I think is another popular each way selection, but I just was worried about him in this race 2 years ago. I know he had an injury after the race and it obviously affected him, but I don't think he's best seen at Kempton again. I don't think that's his course. So I just think everything ticks the boxes for Spillens Tower. The only slight concern is potentially he'll need a bit of cut in the ground, but he is 100% going to be in the frame. I think he's the best horse in the race, and I think he's going to win.
Joe.
Yeah, like Scotty there as well. I love Long Presse, but he's not a right-handed track horse. He needs to go the other way around, and we might see him then to better effect. I think Spillant Tower's a good thing here. I think we're overcomplicating things a lot by looking down the field. You're hearing a lot of people saying Brave Man's Game's a really good each way angle. I don't buy that whatsoever. For starters, if I'm backing a horse each way, I want to have it on the sense that I think it's got a good winning chance as well. And I don't think that's the case of Brave Man's Game. He may well stay on into a place, but not buying that at all. And the same people that are saying Brave Man's Game has got a really big chance are the same people writing off Grey Dawning, saying that he had a real hard race in the Betfair Chase when they ran against each other. So Grey Dawning I can't have at all. If he's going to be primed for this race, then he's going to have an even harder task when it gets to March. Ile France can't have whatsoever at all. Hearing old George saying that he's got no excuses and there's been nothing found wrong with Ile France for his 2 poor runs. I don't think you stop that quickly without having any sort of issue in my eyes. Envoy LN is a really interesting one here. He's got his ground. He's got the flat track. He's coming in here in decent form. I actually think he's going to stay on really nicely and fill the places. But I think the betting's got this right. I think Spillane Tower's a good thing. I think he's really going to shorten up for the Gold Cup after this as well. I'm not concerned about the ground. I know Jimmy Mangan has said that he will prefer a slight bit of cut in the ground, but it doesn't mean he's not going to be effective on this surface at all. I think he takes the world of beating here. I really do. And I think Banbridge is a really solid horse that does very little wrong. I think his class will mean that he will stay. Whether he's got the finishing kick to beat Spillane Tower, I don't know. But I think the Irish hold all the aces here. I think you're going to find Spillane Tower takes the win. I think Banbridge will chase him home. Then I think Envoy Len's going to run his race and finish third. So that's my 1, 2, 3. Again, quite firm on it this year. Final thing, Jane. A lot of people are saying this isn't a vintage renewal of the King George. I don't see what the issue is with this field. I think we've got
What's the issue? I agree.
Really good lineup. Really good lineup. You go back and look at the last 5 years. Tell me when it's been much better than this. We got a
runners wise, Joe. It's fantastic because we've been so used to in the last 10 years 4 or 5 runner races. So I don't know what people are cribbing it for.
Yeah, I agree. Heat contest Spillane Tower for me, Jamie.
You're going to laugh at one and the one. Look, I'm very worried about Spillane Tower on the ground. And if the pace of the race, I'm trying to visualize this race, and I have, and this is why I broke it down. Right, I'll say the horses that have no chance. Spillane Tower, I can't have on the ground. I think he'd be ran off his feet with the pace. Grey Dawning, no, because of the hard race in the Betfair. Long Press needs to go left-handed. Brave Man's Game is absolutely no chance. Corbett's Cross will be found out, jumping-wise when they go quick. Envoy Allen as well, lads. If you watch Envoy Allen and the way he's run it down right, they crawl in those races, he'll be off his feet completely in a Kempton King George. That's just me. Mind that French horse. The ones that are going to do the pace on the ground are the Wheel Whacker and Ile France, right? Now, this is why I back Banbridge, because he's good ground and he's going to go the pace because he has 2 mile pace. And I'm worried about he'll stay. It's just a small, but I got 9 to 1 each way. But you're going to laugh. I've come down on the French yoke. I don't know.
Oh no, Jamie, come on.
I think he's just not suited anymore to soft, bog heavy ground on outside, jumping fences, different fences. I thought he was absolutely mustard at Kempton last year. Now you're going to have a moment where he's going to clout one. There's no doubt. And then if he clouts and he could pull up, he'll either Joe or Scotty, sorry, and the two of you put together. He'd either absolutely blow it or he'd absolutely romp it. It's just that. He was so impressive last year on the good ground at Kempton. My only worry is that will the Wheel Whacker take him on? And they'll set it up for a 2 mile speed horse in Banbridge. And that's the way I'm going to go. So my horse that I backed on last couple of weeks has been Banbridge, but something is telling me this France is going
You've fallen for it, Jane.
I've fallen for it. I have. But it's just, I hope for my better bet on Banbridge is that they'll go quick in France and the Wheel Whacker, that it'll set it up for Banbridge.
Yeah, I like the thinking though. You thought tactically, and you thought, well, how's Banbridge going to win? Well, it might be because the pace pace up front, and in that case, like you said, it does effectively bring.
Yeah. Now, if the Wheel Whacker is mid-div and they leave LA France to have a soft lead, that's what I'm thinking. So look, LA France and Banbridge for me, and people might laugh at me afterwards. So.
Based on his, like you said, on his win last year, if he'd won his last race in France and won it convincingly, he'd be 11 to 10, 11 to 8.
Exactly.
Very short. You're
That's
just taking the price that he's good and well. That's all you're taking the price on.
Yep. But he didn't, and he's had issues. Anyway,
we'll move on. We'll be here all day talking about it. Is the Grade 1, the 105, the Grade 1 Formby Novice hurdled over 2 miles at entry. The favourite is Ponder's Charm, the best price at 15 to 8. Road less travelled at 9 to 2. 5 to 1 Country Mile. 6 to 1, Joe's favourite, Celtic Dino. 15 to 2 Miami Magic. And 11 to 1 Junker Delier. Joe, I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to let you talk about it more than me. I kind of tried to break this stuff down. But I do, with the form with Wade out, and obviously Joyu should have won at Cheltenham the last day. I am with you 6-1. The
Phew.
only problem I have with the reason why the horse is 6-1 is that the jockey is terrible. But anyway,
Hmm.
the floor is yours. 6-1 Celtic Dino. I'm with you.
Yeah, look, absolutely love Celtic Dino. I've been a massive fan of his, even for his bumper days, and then obviously he went and won really nicely at Wincanton on his maiden hurdle debut. Stepped it then at Ascot and won really convincingly against some horses that are highly touted to go on and do much better things as well. I'm a massive fan of these Dr. Dino horses. He's producing just really fast, slick hurdlers, and they are tending to thrive when they get over hurdles. You obviously got the likes of State Man is a prime example as one of these Dr. Dino horses. He's going to love this ground as well. He just does very, very little wrong. He's improving. Now, Celtic Dino was initially Sam Thomas's Betfair hurdle horse. I've recently spoken to Sam, and that's not the case anymore. Celtic Dino is no longer his Betfair hurdle horse, which to me suggests that he could be even better than that. Lump Sum is now going to be his Betfair hurdle horse. So I am thinking that Sam Thomas is quite aware that he thinks that Celtic Dino is going to be winning on Boxing Day and then actually could end up lining up in the Supreme. I'm not saying he's going to go and win the Supreme, but you don't have to be a guaranteed chance or have a winning chance to go and line up in these good races, for example. I think he's faster than all of these. I think he jumps better than all of these. I just think he's a really good horse. And like you said, Jamie, 6-1. That's a massive each way sort of play for me. I love a muggy each way bet. I do. I don't mind getting my money back if it means I can get stuck in at a decent price. Potter's Charm, very good. Road Less Travel's got the beat in a country mile already, but Celtic Dino ticks all the boxes here. I think this is a very, very good horse, and I think ratings will tell you that after this race as well.
Lovely. Scotty.
There we go. We're all in agreement.
Oh, it's going to go downhill from there. Come on.
You said it. I think the form of Wade's out, vaulting up at
Yeah.
Lingfield, absolutely impressive. The Joyous form, it's all there in the book. But I mean, there's arguments for all of them that have got the form in the race. I mean, Roadless Traveller, is that his name? Roadless
Road Less Travel,
Travelled,
yeah.
who beat Country Mile, who absolutely hacked up at Cheltenham the next time. I think the one with the worst form in the race is Potter's Charm.
Especially
I
over
think
this trip, Scotty, right? Over 2
over the
months
trip,
especially.
dropping back down in distance with the Val Grand form, it's not working out well. Gale Marler, they're all been beaten since in behind. It's again the classic case of early Cheltenham form. People get carried away. I might be wrong in saying this, but I think Potter's Charm is owned by the same people as Regent Stroll. Is that Alex Ferguson's mob?
Yeah, 100%.
And I think that's a clue in itself. This horse would be going to the Challow instead of this race at Newbury if they didn't think Regent Stroll was not as good as this horse. Regent Stroll is their
100%.
better horse, I think. And I think Potter's Charm is coming here to try and nick another grade one. But I don't think he wins this race. I think Celtic Dino, like Joe, we always say it, have an each way bet where it's bigger than 5-1. You're guaranteed to get your place money back, but always back an each way horse if you think can win. And I think Celtic Dino is one of my stronger bets over the whole festive period, and I'm really excited. The only one I think that is potentially a fly in the ointment, still obviously unexposed as a novice, and that's Miami Magic. I think he's a pretty decent horse, and if he was trained by Stuart Edmonds, he'd be half the price he was if he was trained by somebody else, if he was trained by Henderson or someone. I think that's the two. I think Country Mile will get found out in this race. I think he was a bit flattered by his last win at Cheltenham. I think the likes of Wingmen and that will handicap plots who he beats. So I'm going Celtic Dino, and I think Miami Magic will finish second.
Great. All in agreement for Celtic Dino. 6-1 GSI. Right, we'll move on to Leopardstown, and 110 is the juvenile hurdle, the grade 2 over 2 miles. The favourite and the most, I'd say now, starting to be the most talked about horse on X Twitter is the favourite at 6-4, Willie DeHull. 7-2, Hello Neighbour. Mercia is 5-1, Naturally Nimble, who beat Willie DeHull at Ferryhouse is 7-1. 12-1, it's Bilbo, and 21 Bar. I'm going to start off. I rather see a horse jump hurdles before this huge hype of a Cameron Cromwell horse from the Battler Secret crowd and Hello Neighbour. The amount of people are touting this horse. I rather have a run under my belt. They went ridiculously fast, and he was just an experience at Ferryhouse. I think he's an absolute good thing, and people will come out of their boxes and underneath their stones and holes when Willie DeHull wins. I have a slip of 33-1. You'll see it all over Twitter. I think he'll win. Scotty, we'll stick with you. Am I talking absolute rubbish, or will you take him on?
What, Willie DeHull?
Yeah.
No, I'm with him. I was against him after his first run, but I've forgiven him, and I just think he's going to win, and I think he'll win easy. The naturally nimble form will get reversed, all ties in with its bilbo. The only one that could potentially be a good horse was obviously the Kenny Alexander signs up all of these fillies. We just don't know how good she is. She's only run in France, so she could run a good race, but it's all guesswork. But I just take on the experience from Fairy House. He'll improve, and I think Willie de Hall's a good thing here.
Joseph.
Yeah, well, anytime we hear Willie the Hood, it just makes me smile because I just think of our Sean sort of thing, you know. But look, he's probably going to be hard to beat. The race doesn't look massively deep in that sense.
Mhm.
Am I going to back him at 6 to 4? No, I'm not. I was really disappointed with the way he finished out his race. I appreciate he might come on for it. I'm not saying he's definitely not going to win or I'm going to lay him or anything like that. But the 6 to 4 seems a little bit short to me. Again, big fan of Dr. Dino's Mercia, this filly for Kenny Alexander, Willie Mullins, and Mikey O'Sullivan is actually going to be taking the ride here. I think she'll run a really big race. Her form's actually quite strong from her races over in Auteuil. It's working out a little bit better than Willie de Hall's is as well. I know you've got Nietzsche Haas and a few of those runners in behind Willie de Hall, but again, I might even just look at a bit of a muggy bet here again, each way, Mercia 5 to 1. I am starting to consider her as becoming a bet. Yes, Willie de Hall's the likeliest winner if he comes on for that latest run, but look, she gets the mare's allowance here, Mercia as well. I think she ticks a lot of boxes. She jumps well as well, from what I've seen from her races in France. Um, yeah, look, I probably say with Mercer each way. I think I'm gonna take on Willie de Hall. Sorry, Sean.
Thank you, Joe, for Cargisi 2.0. We move on for the 220 is the Grade 1 3 mile novice chase at Leopardstown. And the favourite, we're going to stick with Joe here because he likes this horse. The 13 to 8 favourite is Better Days Ahead, the winner of the Martin Pipe. 7 to 4, the Drimore winner, Croke Park. 4 to 1, Stellar Story. And 14 to 1, the National Hunt Chase winner, Buddy One. Joseph, talk
Oh,
to me.
Jane, this is wrecking my brain. Such a big fan of Better Days Ahead, but for some reason, Broke Park is just hitting me every time I look at this race. And now I'm sort of wondering, have I given Better Days Ahead too much credit with his chances in regards to the Browns? I guess this is where we're going to find out. But the fact that the Grade 1 form was already there with Croke Park does have me sort of edging towards him here. So it's a bit of a brain wrecker for me, this. I'm a massive fan of Better Days Ahead. I backed him Ante-Post for the Browns. Last season, I was a massive fan of Croke Park. He was just this big slow boat. He was always going to become a better chaser. And I think people are giving him a bit of discredit for his win in the Drimore as well, beating Hartwood and who was the other one? Remind me, Firefox.
Firefox.
He jumped so well from the front. He did the same as well when he won on debut at Fairy House. Look, I think they're two very good horses. But look, Stellar Story's a very good horse as well. He didn't jump very well at all, but still had that staying power. I think this is going to shape the Browns' horses for the Gordon Elliott team. So I'm probably going to not have a bet here. For my Ante-Post bets, I'd like Better Days Ahead, but something's telling me Croke Park's going to run a blinder here, Jamie.
Yeah, this race really wrecked my head, Joe. But you might think I'm mad. Mad. Better Days Ahead, I think, needs soft ground. I don't think Croke Park, to me, I know he went on the better ground at the Drimore, and he did shock me. I thought he needs soft ground. But because of if the jukebox man, Romso McKempton,
Ah, I see.
Stellar Story, I think is better going left-handed. He learned a lot that day Punchestown. I was there. He banged fences and he still won. That's how good I think Stellar Story is. And I think, look, no offense to Sam Ewing, he has first dibs now at the moment, obviously, with Jack Kennedy injured. Keith Donoghue I prefer. And 4 to 1 in a 4 runner race with Buddy One has no chance, which is a 3 runner race to me. I think 4 to 1 is massive on Stellar Story. He's the Grade 1 Albert Bartlett winner.
You're
3 miler.
you're confusing me even more now, see, Jamie. This
Yeah,
is exactly the
but
point
I'm going to back because of the prices. I think 4 to 1 on a Grade 1 winner at Cheltenham compared to Croke Park and Better Days is a handicap winner, and Croke Park's never been to Cheltenham, and this is left-handed, and it's a better test of stamina. 4 to 1 is huge. Stellar Story, and I think Stellar Story will win. Yeah, Scotty.
I'm with you, Jay. I think
Yeah.
Stellar Story will win. Again, I think Better Days Ahead was he won by 4 lengths, beating Slade Steele the first day. And Slade Steele let the form down. I know he lost to Lecky Watson, who put in a good performance, but again, it's all back to the Albert Bartlett form. Stellar Story was ahead of all of them in the race, wasn't he? And you got the likes of the Jukebox Man, who was second, who's favourite for the Corto, won his beginner's chase well at Newbury. Dancing City's favourite for the Browns. Won his beginner's chase nice. Lecky Watson's won since. Search for Glory obviously is was in that race as well. Johnny Who won a beginner's chase. The Albert Bartlett form's very strong. And again, going back to the left-handed thing, I think Seller Story will be a different gravy going left-handed. Just because I think he's 4-1 and the others are very short, I'd be backing him as well. And I think if he puts, like you said, the jumping has to improve. That is the thing. If he jumps better, I think he'd be very tough to pass. When it comes down to having a fight, and Leopardstown isn't the shortest of run-ins, and they have to come to that final fence. If he's within 2 lengths, there's no other horse in that race I prefer to be on than him. And that's the reason why I think he's got a big chance in the race as well.
Just one thing to mention there as
Go on,
well,
yep.
Jamie. Like again, this is just going adding to the cause of Stellar Story now, which is again I won't have a bet. It's not even like he jumped poorly as in he was running through his fences. He was just missing his stride. He was going a stride too early or a stride too late. It's not the fact he can't jump. So that experience might bring him on plenty as well. So I'll tell you what, this is a hell of a race for
It's a good race for a 4-1 race. I will say that, but yeah,
Stellar
definitely
Story's a bit of a
Stellar
dosser.
Story. Yeah,
He needs something to aim at. The small fields don't suit him. But again, he just had the class last day to get through that small run of field. I just think with a lead and a big run field, say something like the Browns, you'd see an even better horse. But I just think, like so, at the prices, I just think he's the one to be on.
and I think he'll distract Crow Park. Let Crow Park do the donkey work and pick him up
Makes
at the
sense.
end. 100%.
Again, that's probably what made it harder for him to win last time as well. It turned into a sprint, didn't it? But
he needs a target. He needs a target, without a doubt. Right, we move on to the last race we're going to cover on Stephen's Day Boxing Day. Is the 133 from Limerick. Is the 2 mile 7 novice hurdle, the grade 2. I'm with Joe here with the big Westerner. I let him explain it more than me. He's 5-2 favourite. Middle of 6, so is 3-1. Fleur in the Park is 7-2, 11-2 Mr. Pink, 15-2 Mozzie Sister, and 21 Prank Grad et Trois. Joe, you're pretty sweet on one here.
Yeah, I'm all over the big Westerner here, James. Again, we are trying to keep these rather short and quick fire, so I will do that again here. But I think she's an absolute good thing here on Boxing Day. Probably the bet of the entire Christmas period for me. Wasn't going to give anything away too soon, but I really do think this is an exceptionally good mare. She won a point at Ballycahan. It was a pretty decent performance. And then she was seriously impressive to me at Punchestown when she beat a few of the Geldings. Son of Anarchy, a huge reputation. Argento Boy was well backed on the day. And she just showed a massive turn of foot. She's got speed. She's got stamina. She jumped well. I think she's an exceptional mare. I was fortunate enough to speak to Kumara Stud the other day, and they told me that Dara O'Keefe also insisted that he come to Limerick so he could ride her over anything else on Boxing Day. And I think that just adds to
massive, isn't it? Massive.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's
5-2 could be absolutely huge, though.
Huge. Yeah. She was 11-4 at one point, and I struggled to get a price. Labrooks have now priced us up, so I've managed to get a sizable bet on as well today. I'm really sweet on the big Westerner. And this Kumara Stud, they provide some brilliant mares. They got Hispanic Moon, Lantry Lady back on track at Nace on the 5th of January in a mare's chase. Mascada. Look, I think this big Westerner, I think she's exceptional and takes a lot of beating here.
Scotty.
Yeah. Again, what Joe said, he's right. I think Dara O'Keefe coming here for the ride is just a clue in itself for one. And that point to point she won over 3 miles was on soft, heavy ground. And this race is another furlong and a half further than the race she won first time out in Ireland. So again, I think the further she goes, the better she'll be. And I think over 2 miles 7 furlong, I don't think there's anything in the race that can beat her. I think she's a cracking bet at 5-2, and I'm all over her as well, Jamie.
Lovely. Now, that's it for Stephen's Day Boxing Day. Any other horses, lads, that catch your eye? The floor is yours, and I'll do mine afterwards. And I have my nap as my very last one of the ones extra for Stephen's Day Boxing Day. So whoever wants to go first, belt away.
Here comes the money.
Here comes the money.
The money. Yeah, look.
Go on, Shane O'Mac, Scotty. Do you want to go first? Do you want to go first, Shane O'Mac?
William Money makes his hurdles debut, obviously.
Go on, Joe.
At Leopardstown. Of course, I'm excited, aren't I? I mean, look, he's got Redemption Day to beat, who I actually rate quite highly. A lot of people are cribbing him and saying, well, he's running loads of bumpers, so he can't win. I think that's absolute nonsense. I think he's a really big contender in the Supreme, actually. The race that they ran at the end of the season, obviously, William Money has a fair bit to find with Redemption Day, but he didn't get the same sort of run that Redemption Day did that day. You could probably relook at that race and sort of mark the performance up of William Money. Now, a few weeks before that day, I did say it right. A few weeks before the last day. William Money had put in a few really bad pieces of work at home. Barry had no idea what was going on with him. He had his bloods tested and a few other things like that. And it came back that he basically wasn't well. So he ran when he wasn't even at full health and obviously finished 11 lengths back. But I think he'll get a lot closer to William Money, to Redemption Day this time. I really do. The ground, does it favour Redemption Day perhaps a little bit more? I'm not too sure. But look, whatever happens, I think William Money's going to run a big race. He's another Westerner, so perhaps the big Westerner and William Money get doubled up for me on the day. But look, I just want to see him run a big race and put his name into the Supreme hat. Yes, I'm a Barry Connell fanboy. I understand that. But he's got a lot of speed, William Money. Obviously, when he beat Fleur in the park and Wingmen at Nace, it was a snappy turn of foot. He's a rapid horse. I mean, if he jumps well and he can handle the pace that they go, he ain't going to be far away. No, I just want to see William Money run a good race. But the big Westerner is the bet for the day and the bet for the entire of Christmas on Boxing Day. So I got my words mixed up a little bit there as I was going through. I was thinking of so many things, but come on, William Money, let's do it.
Show me the money.
Show me the money.
Scotty.
Yeah. The other one I'd fancy would be in the 12:45 at Kempton, and that was Fireflyer. That goes in the.
Oh, you fecker. I have him here, top of the list. Fireflyer, 6 to 1.
I just
I'll
think
let you explain. I'm agreeing with Scotty in the 12:45. Yeah, Fireflyer all day long. 6 to 1 is huge.
Jamie, I think it's an obvious one. Got some good form. Going right-handed, better
Yeah.
ground will be fine. I think it was an eye-catching run at Exeter last time, and I think this is a very winnable race. I think the danger is the favourite Asta La Pasta, who was impressive at Carlisle and ran well since.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a very winnable race, and I thought Firefly at 9 to 2 was again a nice little each-way bet. Maybe if it gets you 5 or 6s, I'll take the each-way. But I think Firefly will be a good start to the bet at Kempton, hopefully on Thursday.
Right. I have a few. Leopardstown. I am taking on this co-pick the board because, oh my God, 8 to 11 and 8 to 15. The horse has never been on good ground in Leopardstown, and he walked home on heavy ground in Ferris. I just don't get the hype. Now, I might be egg on my face. There's just too much of a deep maiden hurdle, I think. What am I going to take him on with? Cow and Boonga and all that? I don't know yet, but I think co-pick the board is a complete lay. I will take on Joe. I think Redemption Day is going to have way too much speed on the better ground for William Money. The reasoning behind that is, to me, that bumper that we were at the DRF last year was amazing. Jeroboam Mashan, you ought to know it coming out of one of Maidenhead. Look at the yellow clay. Look how good he is. I think he'll be clutch. Now, would I take 5 to 6 Redemption Day to find out? Oh, God, no. But no, I think that'll win.
Would you use him for a couple of small multis here and there, Jamie?
No, I won't, Joe. I don't trust him.
Yeah, fair enough. No, that's fine.
I know I'm putting him up, and I don't trust him. But it's the ground. If it was softer, I'd be all over William Money, all over. But no, it's the ground, and it's Redemption Day for me. The 255 down the bottom of the weights and over 2 mile handicap, 6 to 1 I see at the moment. And Charlie O'Dwyer's hitting 5 off, so it'll be like 9 stone 11. Is one last tango. There's definitely a handicap in him, and he will go on any ground. To mind if he's soft, heavy, doesn't matter. In the 12:58, I think I have here, we see our little friend from Liverpool said, Joe, Canesborough's out tomorrow. So Canesborough, right, is running. But I am all over the second favourite in this. It got backed off the board behind Carafon at Clonmel, and it's Caramoja for the Gigginstown, and Willie Mullins, Brian Hayes has been jacked up. It's 3 to 1, and I would pay 3 to 1 to find out to beat at Canesborough, because Canesborough is first time out. And the nap of Stephen's Day, and I knew the Dubliner would find this out. He was saying it last night in the Fox Hunters. In the 2:33 at Down Royal, 5 to 2 to beat it's on the line. Angel's Dawn is an absolute certainty. Right, we'll move on to the 27th of December. Now, this is the race. This is going to cause ruptions, I'd say, on Twitter. And I'm going to leave you go first, and I'm going to counter-argue the two of you. The 155 at Kempton is the Wayward Lad Novices Chase over 2 miles. The favourite at even money is Ballyburn. 5 to 4 Sergino, 10 to 1 Caliph to Burley, 12 to 1 Rubo, and forget about the rest. Scotty, we'll go to you first. Who wins this big race?
He's going to say
Yeah, I think
Rubo. He's going to say Rubo.
yeah, Rubo hacks up. No, quite easy for me, Jamie. I think it's an easy selection. I think Sergino wins. Um, I'm just I'm convinced that he's been schooling well. Yeah, I think he's a monster of a horse. He's definitely going to be getting everything in his favour here, getting £6 from Ballyburn. I just think Ballyburn is not as good going right-handed. He struggled at Punchestown to get home. I know he had a tough race at Cheltenham. He, I know again, first run of the season at Fairy House last season against Firefox. His best forms at Leopardstown, his best forms at Cheltenham. Okay, he's still very lightly raced. I just think Sergino at Kempton, of course, that he won the Adonis on. I think he was very impressive as a young fresh horse back then. I just think if you're having a match bet, if you're going to do if you're going to do the Constitution Hill, Lossiemouth, take a bet on one of them. Or if you're taking a bet on Ballyburn against Sergino, it's the easiest decision to make. Sergino for me over Ballyburn. I think Ballyburn will be better at 2.5, 3 miles. I just don't think he'll have the pace to beat Sergino. And if Sergino jumps around, I think he'll win and win well. And I may look stupid, but I don't care. That is what I think, and that is what I'm going to stick with.
Joe, are you with Scotty?
Oh, I can't make my mind up. I can't make my mind up here, Jamie. It looks like to me, everyone's saying
Do a head and heart moment. So
It hurts me to say, Jamie, because I love Ballyburn, as you know, as
do a
well.
head and heart, Joe. Your heart
so.
says.
My
Your
heart,
head
my
says.
heart, my heart says Sergino.
Yeah.
My head actually says Ballyburn. And look, I've been very, very critical about Ballyburn this since he ran in on debut over fences, and I said, look, he
Yeah, a
just
bit harsh, bit harsh.
yeah, I probably have been. I probably have been. He looks like he jumps like a stay. He's not slick. He doesn't go away from his fences, and that then initially tells you, well, Sergino's quick. He's speed. He's flashy. He's nimble. But then you look again and you say, well, Sergino's a 4-year-old. Ballyburn's a 6-year-old. I mean, Sergino's got a lot of developing to do still. Look, I'm not going to have a bet in the race. I am going to back Lossiemouth in the duel between Constitution Hill and Lossiemouth. This is probably the duel I'm going to stay out of. And look, early season, I backed Ballyburn for the Browns, so I'd like Sergino to tank him here and then send Ballyburn up and trip because I think he'd be superb as a stayer. This is a tricky one for me, Jamie. It really, really is. I don't know where to side with at the minute. I think I know where you're siding with, though. I'd be adamant that you're all over Ballyburn here.
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth. I'm all over him. He has the chasing experience, and I think there's just one thing what he's going to do, Joe. If Paul Townend's over, and hope he stays over, is exactly you put your hand out. Let's go, let's go. We'll see what Giorgino has,
Yes.
and I think he'll go out in front, catch me if you can, and I think he'll destroy him. I really do. If the jumping's not exactly what you're saying, the little thing about if the jumping's not slick enough and he doesn't get away for Sergino and Sergino jumps well, Sergino has that kick compared to him. I will say that. But I think he'll just use his experience and I think he'll just go. And I think he'll be run out. I think they're here, to be honest with you, all jokes aside, he's here to find out if he's an Arkle horse or not. And if he gets beaten by Sergino, I would be happy then with your slip with the Browns because I think he'll step up then.
Sure.
He's here. They're here to find out, basically. Right, we move on to
quickly, really quickly. Sorry, I've just been thinking as well as you've been talking there. It's possible Ballyburn's faster than what we think. If we then again weigh it up, he demolished.
Do you see how fast he was last year at Leopardstown? We were both there.
That's the exact thing that came into my mind, and I know Slade Steele's chase form hasn't worked out, but over hurdles he was fast, So
yeah.
Anyway, I'll just check as well into the mix. Go on, Scotty.
I was going to say at Leopardstown, they omitted the last hurdle there, didn't they, when they went round, and it made it even quicker. His acceleration was just blistering.
Right, the 230, which is a fantastic race, a very interesting race, is the Desert Orchid now. It's a grade 2 limited handicap over 2 miles. The favourite here, just holding on to favourites, is Boot Hill at 5-2, Mertarter at 11-4, Edwardstone at 130, 10-1 Sam Brewitt, 12-1 Edward G, and 16-1 Soul Icon. Joe, we'll go back to you. Who would you fancy in this one? A very trappy, tricky race.
I got again, James. I'm thinking too much here. I think I fancy one. I think too much. I changed my mind. I absolutely love Martator here as a horse. I really, really do. He obviously a few weeks ago I had a nice weekend where I had a nice handful of runners, and he actually topped it off, won by 11 lengths. Loves going right-handed, and just looks like a horse that's going to improve. Boot Hill's no mug though, He wasn't far behind John Bon, obviously in the Schlur chase. He's done well. in other races too. But the form has been boosted from Martator beating Cotmask. He actually hosed up the other day as well, going right-handed. So I am going to side with Martator. Venetia Williams and Charlie Deutsch have been mopping up these sort of these handicap chases in recent weeks. Well, this year, really, to be honest, they've been winning some massive races. So I hope there's enough improvement in him. I've seen he's actually gone out to 11-4. That's probably swayed me back in his favour because I think he's suddenly a backable price. He opened up at 6-4, which is too short. But look, Boot Hill and Edwardstone are clearly no mugs. But I'm going to side with Martator as the one that could still be on a nice upward curve.
Scotty?
Agree with everything Ginge said. I'm a massive Martindale fan. I've backed him already. I've stuck him in a little fourfold for the whole Christmas, and everything Ginge said. The Cotmask form, beating him by 11.5 lengths at Ascot. He's come out and won since last weekend. I just think Edwardstone's regressing now. He seems to not get round more times than he does nowadays. Don't know whether it's just the old leg starting to take effect. And there's no chance in hell Edwardstone can give £12 to Martindale in the current form he's in, going right-handed. Absolutely no chance. It's between the top two in the market, Boot Hill and Martindale, and I do respect Boot Hill. I like him going right-handed at Kempton and Ascot, but I think Martindale will win this race, and I think you may see him end up in a champion chase as a 16-1, 14-1 shot and run a half-decent race. I think he's the improving horse this year in the 2 mile division, and I think he takes the beating here, Jamie.
I was with you lads all day, and I was looking at this race, and obviously, you're absolutely correct, Scotty. I remember Edwardstone was a hot favourite for this 1 year, and he fell at the second, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I know Martator is improving, and to be honest with you, some of those races in Ascot, it was written down as good ground. Uh, no, you could see the kick it up. I think the ground has been totally wrong in some of the descriptions of Ascot. So, because of his form behind John Bunn and on the better ground, and he's better going right-handed, I think 5-2. I'm all over Boot Hill here. I think it's tailor-made for him, right-handed, good ground, and I think he'll beat Martator all day. Yeah, it's just me. So
Can I just
Go
throw
ahead.
in one
Sorry.
quick other form line with Martindale in his previous run to his last win? He beat the likes of Madara. Okay, maybe not trying his best that day. Madara should have won the Paddy Power Gold Cup, and then you've got the likes of Saint Segal, who's won since. The form's just stacking up for him as well, Jamie.
Exactly. You made a great point. Right, on to the 110 at Leopardstown on the 27th is the Paddy Power Rewards Club Grade 1 chase over 2 miles. And the favourite here at 10-11 is the champion chase winner, in my opinion, Gaelic Warrior at 10-11. Found a 50, 4-1, 7-1 Dino Blue. Oh my God. 7-1 Marine National to find out. She should be 14-20-1. Captain Guinness, a champion chaser who loves good ground, is 16-1. Now that's a match bet for you, isn't it? Captain Guinness and Marine National. 33-1 Gentle Me and 33-1 Sunless. Go on, Bossman Ginge. Tell us why Marine National wins.
It takes a lot. You just
Come on,
look,
get rid of your heart now and say your head.
look, we got to be serious, haven't we?
Yeah.
In all honesty, Marine's got it all to prove after the run the last day at Nace. I'm still his number one fan, and if he wins, I'm going to scream the house down. Believe me. But look, I'm like you there, James. You got Captain Guinness in there at 16-1. That is absolutely scandalous as a price. That is. I'd be backing him each way. I think Gaelic Warrior is probably the best horse in the race. Go on.
I'll make a point afterwards to you about the why Captain Guinness is 16-1. Go on, yeah.
Is it because he might not be running here, or is it the fact that he's been a bit of a bleeder?
I think, Joe, he is like it is in the champion chase. He's a mile 7.5 horse.
Okay,
The
fine,
extra
fine.
furlong and a furlong and a half will kill him.
Sure, sure. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. I mean, Gaelic Warrior, talented as you like,
Hmm.
is he going to be A1 for day one? Not so sure.
I kind of starting to agree with you. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I do feel when we get to March, he will be revved up to the
Mhm.
ninth sort of thing. Like, that Marine National, he has these issues. God, I would love him so much to win this race.
Mhm.
Do I honestly think he will? Probably not. Founder 50 keeps catching my eye, but at the prices, just Captain Guinness is it's just huge. Like champion chase winner, 16-1 against novices coming up into open graded company. It's just from a betting perspective, I just think it's the wrong price. on the basis that I think a couple of these could underperform here, I would possibly chance him as a better than minute, Captain Guinness. Yeah.
Scotty?
I'm just going to say, Marine Nationale, all jokes aside, I know we take the mickey out of Joe. I'd love to see him come back here and win. It would be just great for the sport. I think we'd have another contender to throw into the mix to take on the likes of Gaelic at Cheltenham. But I think there's a lot of dead wood in this race, Jamie, if I'm being honest. I can't have Captain Guinness anywhere other than Cheltenham. And I agree with what you said. If there's two horses that don't stay 2 miles and need that extra half a furlong drop back, it's Gentleman to me and Captain Guinness. Both of
Yeah.
them in that champion chase were tongues out to the lines, and that race fell apart. So I can't see Captain Guinness beating the likes of Gaelic Warrior here. But I'm I'm going to stick with my old girlfriend in this. I think Dino Blue at 7-1. She won the race last year. She's getting £7. If there's a better each
Go
way
on,
bet,
Scotty boy.
if there's a better each way bet all Christmas at 7-1 than she is against this field, I then send it over to me because I think she has got to be the bet in the race. I would not take 10-11 on Gaelic Warrior. I'd back him at 7-2 for the champion chase. I'd rather stick a few quid on him there. But in this race, Dino Blue has to be the bet. Getting £7, 7-1 is a massive price.
Scotty, you just took the words out of my mouth, and I'll tell you the reason why. Gaelic Warrior on good yielding ground. I know it's 2 miles one. It's not the 2 miles it was a punch down with the day Tom beat him, but I'm seriously worried about the ground first time out with Gaelic Warrior. And it's left-handed. He needs everything to go right, obviously, and he needs softer ground, in my opinion. I saw that at Punchestown, and I was next to Willie Mullins, and he said ground, ground, ground. So Tom needs the better ground, and Gaelic Warrior needs soft ground. I think Found a 50 will be there, but I think Found a 50 is a 2.5 miler. I think he'll be caught for speed. 2 miles, 1 furlong at Leopardstown is Dino Blue's trip. And 7-1 to find out each way, just in case Gaelic Warrior flops and get the better price on him for a champion chase on softer ground. 100%. I'm taking the 7-1. It's huge. It's had a run in the hilly way behind an Ergamine. Dino Blue, 7-1. I wouldn't be strong on a Dino, but I'm not her biggest fan. But I think 7-1 to find out here is massive. It is absolutely ludicrous. She should be half the price. I think she won this race last year. Am I correct?
Yeah, she did. Yeah.
Yeah, she'll win. And I'm bullish like you, Scotty.
I think Jamie D. I think her price is very much reflected in the run in the hilly way at Cork. I think
Yeah.
the plan that day was to make the running with her, but Energumen being so fresh as he was, he pulled his way to the front, and whether that just put her off, she would have finished third, obviously, when Banbridge fell. But again, if they employ the tactics with her like they usually do, I think she'd be very tough to peg back.
Right. If this thing bloody upstate. Lovely. We'll move on to a very strong fancy for Scotty here in the 145 on the 27 at Leopardstown is the 2 mile Paddy Power Future Champions Novice Hurdle, a grade 1 over 2 miles. The favourite is Bleu d'Oassy at 9-4, 3-1 Romeo Coolio, 7-2 Corniquet, 6-1 Carafont, 10-1 CSNs. Scotty, the floor is yours. A very strong fancy of yours. Belt away.
Yeah, my nap of Christmas is Blow de Vassy in this race. I think he takes all the beating. Was very impressive in his maiden hurdle, won by an absolute country mile. Won the Grade 3 at Navan. I just think all the boxes are ticked, and I said this is going to be a future superstar chaser. And I think with the slight doubt with the well-being of Jalan Dudaries, I think they've kind of like thrown this horse in and said, "Look, take your chance." I think there's races to be won, and I've already backed it for the Supreme and the Gallagher's, whatever it's called now, just to the cover because I think it could win either race. Um, Salvador Mundy not being here is a massive bonus for us. I took 5-1 on Blow de Vassy the other day. Now I think it's like nine to
Great.
four. Um, and I think Romeo Coolio was pretty exposed at Fairy House, if I'm being honest. I don't think he's potentially as good as we once hoped. Giving up on the horse after one run is obviously stupid, but I am stupid, so there you go. Carniquet is the interesting one to take it on with if anyone's going to have a little go. I know Carafon as well is a well-touted horse, but I just think Blow de Vassy has the toe here, and I think the better ground um, will be in its favour. And I honestly think Jamie, this is going to be a very, very good horse that will be winning Grade Ones. I'd like to see him win here, then go to the DRF, keep him a bit fresh. He's had a couple of races already, and yeah, I just think he wins, and I think he wins this easy.
I looked at it, Scotty, and I'm kind of with you. Not 100%, but I suppose 95%. I think you're right because exactly what you're saying, they thought Jalan Judery was the horse, and he's had a setback. Break it down, Romeo Cooley. I'm like, he might be better going left-handed as well. He was very wide, I thought, in the Royal Bond. But if you can't beat a horse, the Toon Surveyor, who's a handicapper in a Grade Two, like, look, as you say, I was his biggest fan last year in a bumper, but I was very, very disappointed in Fairhouse. Now he could come back, but it's just when Gordon said he needs to step up and trip. I think he needs to go slow in like in a Gallagher's, and then just catch people for toe in the end. Where if they go quick here, I'd be worried about him. My problem with like Paul Townend came off at Tremor and said I got a great feel off Cornique, and Carafon won well at Clonmel, but they've had 3 runs. They only need 2 more for handicap marks for Cheltenham. They're scream Cornique and Carafon scream of County and Martin Pipe to me. And that's why I'm going to leave them alone and watch. And that's why I broke it down. And because of his run at Navan and he liked the better ground, 5-2 to find out Blue Devassi, I'm with you. Just
The thing
we're
as well,
process
Jamie,
of elimination.
Hmm.
And what I think two are looking for handicap marks. Romeo Kuda is obviously going to be trying. But Blue Devassi and the way he won at Navan up a hill, 5-2 to find out. Yeah, I'm with you, yeah.
How many runs do you
I
need for a
think
county
what
now?
they'll.
Hmm?
Sorry, Joe,
How
go
many,
on.
how many runs do you need for a county hurdle now?
Five,
Five. But
five.
they've had 2 runs each. Remember, Carafon has had 2 runs, one in Ireland last year, and he's had a run in France. They count if he jumps hurdles.
Can the county be the fifth run or not?
No,
No, you need 5 before it.
Wow. Okay.
So they've had 3 runs each, so they need 2 more. So run here and run it to DRF. Job done.
I think the Bleu de Bassi as well. I think they'll make the running. It's a guaranteed stay. I mean, the breeding again, Cocorico speaks it. A massive 3 mile chaser kind of breeder,
Yeah.
whereas Cap Guard, the Carnique, is more of a speedster. I think Bleu de Bassi will go out and make the running. I don't think they'll catch him.
Lovely. Joe?
Yeah, I mean, I've got to be honest, I've been sort of taking in what you two have been saying there, and it all makes very similar sense to me. Sort of, I was discussing with a couple of my group members today and yesterday, and I said, is it possible now that Willie Mullins has almost got too many horses to the fact he generally has about 3 or 4 for each race, and see, it sounds a lot of people were talking about being a handicapper, but now he's saying obviously they need the 5 runs. So are they going to find out the difference today between Carnique and Carafon? Which one's going to be the county horse? Which one might be a pipe horse? If one of them wins here, do they suddenly chuck their hats into a Supreme? I don't know how you can figure that out without seeing a little bit more from them as well. So, but I wouldn't go giving up on Romeo Coolio yet. It did turn into a little bit of a sprint the last day. I think he might have just been caught a little bit unaware. I think he's better than that. I do. Or do I want to believe he's better than that? Possibly. Now, Scotty's been really sweet on Blur de Vassi for ages now. Sort of got to take note of that. It's a tricky one to figure out. And probably one of the races that the market might guide me with a punt a little bit more nearer the time. So, look, I'm going to sit out of it for now. I want Romeo Coolio to win. Big fan of KTDA racing. So, but like, he's taking a big drift in the market like that's a 3-1. All the support is for Scotty's Blur de Vassi. So perhaps perhaps that tells you the story for now. But I'm going to sit out of it. But this is a really intriguing race.
Right, on the 27th, so we're done. Sorry, lads, we did find nothing in the finale juvenile at Chepstow or the Welsh National on that day, so we apologise for that. We have no selections. So on the 27th, anywhere around Kempton, Limerick, Leopardstown, or whatever, anything catch your eye? And the floor is yours, lads. If anything else, do you have anything else for the 27th?
I
Nope.
was looking in the
Oh, yeah.
handicap chase at Leopardstown, the big one. I was
Hmm.
looking at Favre de Chamdou. I'm keen on him to win a big handicap, but I just think the ground's gone for him. I think it's too good. I think if he gets some rain, which I don't know if there's rain forecast, I'd have a little each way play on him because I do think he's well handicapped on his novice chase form. But yeah, again, I think he'll need rain. But apart from that, Jamie, I haven't got a lot.
Joe?
No, struggling a bit on the
No.
27th, Jamie, to be honest with you. So I'll sit this one out. Just a quick
I
no,
Go
perhaps for
ahead.
Pink. Just a real quick mention for Pinkerton. He's off
Hmm.
147. He runs in the big handicap chase there, the Paddy Power. Obviously, he's won some. Was it the Galway Plate that he won?
Yep.
I mean, that form stacks up pretty nicely. He'd have to have some form of chance. But no, I'm struggling a little bit on the 27th to find a strong selection for the time being, anyway.
I have 3 extra in the 220, the handicap hurdle over 2 miles. Off the flat, the same crowd is absurd. I think off his mark, Ethical Diamond. He gets the ground that he's craving. And I think, don't mind these form figures 060, I think this is just handicapped to win. Uh, my nap on the 27 is down in Limerick. And I'm going to take on She Could Be Anything in the Mayor's Novice Chase. I think it's a grade two. And it's a chase debutante. In the 127, she's built to be an absolute top class chaser. And it's for Gavin Cromwell. It's bioluminesque.
Oh
She is the
wow.
nap of the 27th, and I think she'd win. And the 245 at Wetherby in the Castleford handicap chase, with the form behind Javert Alain the last day at Newbury. If Harper's Brook runs, this is the day. It was second the last day at Newbury, obviously, to Javert 11. I think that will win as well. So, quickly, before we move on to 28, I think, Scotty, we know your nap for the 27th is Blood of Assy, yes?
Yeah, I'm going to do a double with Martador. I think they'll both win.
Joe, nap for the 27th?
Well, there we go. We'll go with Marta Tour as well. Then sold.
Lovely. Right, we'll move on. We're going well. For the 2 o'clock at Leopardstown, over 2 miles, 7.5 is the Savills Hurdle, Grade 1 Hurdle. The 5 to 2 favourite. Grade 1 Hurdle. How is it a Grade 1 Hurdle? 5 to 2 is Home by the Lee. 7 to 2, Bob Ollinger. 8 to 1, Hewick. 10 to 1, Asterion Falange. 10 to 1, Noble Yates. And it's 20 to 1 actually. An old favourite of Scotty's, Sandra Cleggan. So, Scotty, we'll start with you. The Savile hurdled over 3 miles. Who tickled your fancy?
I'm just going to watch it because they all annoy me, these horses. Every time I back them, they don't win. Every time I leave them, they go and win. How many times I've backed Home by Lily, he does nothing. How many times I've backed Bob Ollinger, he gets beat. How many times I've backed Sandor Cleggan, he doesn't win. Asterion Falange, I've probably backed more times than any horse in history, but I'm just going to chuck a few quid each way on Hewick because of the ground. And I think back over hurdles, just give him a spin. If he puts his right mind to it, he could win, but it's not a massive opinion. I'm probably just going to have a small each way and sit out, Jamie.
I'm actually with you here, Scotty. I think 6 to 1 to find out each way on better ground. I think he'll just, like what Beauport did last week in the Grade 1, go out and catch me if you can. And I think he'll catch all of them on the hop. And I don't think they'll catch him. 6 to 1 to find out is huge. And I think he'll win. I think he's just better over them for 3 miles. Joe?
Yeah, it just made me laugh, Scotty, saying these horses annoy him. But I totally understand. I totally understand what you mean at the same time. Interesting if Hewitt wins it. I think it'll be the first one for Tara Lee Kagan, the new
Mhm.
trainer of Hewitt as well. I actually think this is going to be Bob's time. I've never been in the fan club, if you like, of Bob Ollinger. I think he'll come on plenty for getting
You're
beat.
listening to Andrew. You're listening to Andrew Halligan too much, by.
He's got me sold. He's got me sold. I think this is the time where Bob Ollinger will come on a little bit. I think he'll revert that form with Home by the Leaf from the last day at Navan. So I may get tempted to back Bob on the day. Just one to keep an eye on here at 50 to 1 is a horse called Maxim. This is a horse that I pinpointed at the beginning of the season that's going to have a big, big handicap him again this year. And I think that is exactly going to be the plan. So just see what happens. If he goes forward, I think they'll be trying. If he's sat there prominent behind the pace and falls out the back of the telly, they're plotting this one once again. So it could even be the same race at the DRF that he won last year as well. So he saved my bacon that day after Marine bombed out as well. So he turned my frown upside down. So
Was that when you disappeared and you came back and you after Boom Maxim, was that?
that's the
Oh,
one.
yeah, I
Well,
remember that. I
I
remember that.
was quite happy with the after boom. I'm giving myself that one. More than happy. But yeah, I think Maxim's a good horse. I just think they're trying to find a mark for him to win a big handicap again. But I might side with Bob for win purposes anyway.
Okay, lovely. The 235 at Eberstown, the one probably the most anticipated rematch after the I can't remember the name of the bloody rest. It escapes me.
John Dick.
The John Durkin, sorry, is the 3 mile and a half furlong. Savills Chase, the grade one at Leopardstown, and it's the favourite is Scotty's new favourite horse in Factify at 7 to 4. 2 to 1, the two-time Gold Cup winner, Galopin de Champ. 8 to 1, Jerry Calam. 12 to 1, I Maximus, and I don't know about the rest. I'd say this will be a small enough field, but a few of them go to the King George, who are priced up. Scotty, we'll go with you first. Fact to file 7 to 4 to find out to be Gallopin at Gallopin, probably favourite track in Leopardstown. Would you be taking the price?
Yeah, definitely. Already have. Um, I just I just think this horse is a monster. He's just a bit of an idler in front. I just think he's got so much in reserve. And I hate to say it because I love Galloping Deschamps, but I think his crown's going to be lost this year, and this is the next superstar. And I think Factor File will win the race, Jamie. I just can't. I know it was over I think it was 2.5 when he beat Gaelic Warrior at the DRF. He hadn't beat after what a mile of that race, and he just kept galloping to the line, a bit similar to what he did in the Browns. Um, just had like so much left in the tank. He did it in the Durkin. Yeah, I just think this is the next big thing in Ireland, this horse, and I do think he'll win. But I'm going to actually have a saver in the race, and call me crazy. I think there's a lot of horses that won't run, but if I know the way you're thinking turns up, he's 40 to 1. There's been big price horses that have placed in this race in the Irish Gold Cup, the likes of Ed Wolf, Balco de Flo. Last installment was a big price, and they're kind of like proven horses at Grade One level, but they get forgotten about. People will still remember the run in the Durkin. I know the way you're thinking. He was just taking off his feet, going the opposite way around to that his best form is. I think if a lot of horses, the pace they're going to go, a lot of horses will be like crying enough after 2 miles, 2.5 miles. He's definitely going to stay. We know that, and I think he could pick up the pieces and hit the frame. So I'd be back in Factor File to win, which I've done, and I'd have a saver each way. And I know the way you're thinking. I do think he's pretty good, and I think he'll beat the likes of Gentleman's Game. I think, like I said, a few of these aren't going to run. You can take 3 or 4 of them out, and yeah, I think he hits the frame, and that's where my money would be, Jay.
Great shout. Joe.
Galopin Des Champs, Jamie. If the same Galopin Des Champs turns up this year that won the Savills last year, nothing on planet Earth can beat him. Let's put it that way. I just think he's an absolute good thing here this time around. I really do. I understand Factor File's gone into favour for the Gold Cup because he beat Galopin in the John Durkin. He was probably entitled to over that trip. At the same time, I just don't understand it and understand it here really. If Factor File beats him, then he is the rightful favourite, but he shouldn't be favourite just yet. The Galopin that turned up here 12 months ago, nothing beats him that ran in this race in the past 10 years. So, let alone Factor File, I think Galopin Des Champs, I'm all over him this time. Didn't fancy him in the Durkin. This is the time to catch him for me.
I had a long think about this race, and it's something that you said before, Joe, that struck me. And I know he's not unbeaten at Leopardstown, but the thing is, I think he'd only be cherry ripe for one day for 3 Gold Cups. And to me, the best two-runner race that has ever ran at Leopardstown, I know Gaelic Warrior fell, right? But Gaelic Warrior tried to run the stuffing out of Factifile, and Factifile got better and better and better. And I think that was probably the performance. You can see now it was one of the performances of all time at Leopardstown to keep up with Gaelic Warrior the way he tried to knock the stuffing out of Factifile. I think if they go quick in this, I think he'll just have too much in the end for Galopin Des Champs. The younger legs, the up and comer, I like that in Gold Cups. Look, you can't crib Galopin Des Champs and what he's achieved. But I think now, because I'm completely sold after the Durkin, this is Factor File's time. And it's Factor File for me.
You're throwing that doubt into my brain now. That's
So
the
two
thing,
for
isn't it?
Factor File and one for
Yeah.
Bossman James and Galopin Des Champs. Right, we move on swiftly over to Newbury for the worst Grade 1 novice ever. Sorry, is the 255, the 2.5, 2 miles, 4.5 shallow novices hurdle. The favourite here for Dan Skelton is the New Lion at 7-4. 2-1, Regent Stroll. 11-2, the Winter Novices hurdle winner at Sandown, Bill Joyce. 7-1, the Yellow Clay. And 16-1, with the floor is yours, Joe, in Wendigo. So tell me who wins the cello. You can say your heart and you can say your head. Belt away.
Yeah. Again, we'll go with the heart first. Of course, I've got a majority share there in Wendigo for Racing Club. Look, he's a smashing little horse. He really is. He's improving run for run. He travels well and he stays well. So he's got all of the credentials on paper that you need to see in a winner of the Challo. This is where we basically find out if he can mix it with Grade 1 company, and it's going to be a tall ask because I think we've actually got an exceptional renewal of the race this year. He's by a horse called Great Pretender, who is the sire to Granatine, Putty Zig, Lossy Mouth, Benny De Jure. And it's a side that keeps producing really good horses, and we definitely haven't seen the best of Wendigo yet anyway. So he's probably one that's going to be travelling the best for a long way. It just depends what he finds when he's asked the question to go on and win the race. So look, in a race that's probably going to cut up, Potter's Charm's not going to go here, Blur de Vassie's not going to go here, Romeo Coolio's not going to go here. You are getting 3 places, and I think that he's a very, very solid horse. He does really very little wrong line. So look, he could throw his hat in the ring for the each way places, absolutely. The winner, though, for me is going to be the New Lion. It is one of my horses to follow for the season. I think he's got it all. I actually think he's very, very good horse. Probably the best horse in the yard of the scouting yard at the moment out of all of the novices, and he's got some good ones there as well. Of course, he's got the one that finished fifth in the bumper. What's it? No, it's a bit further back.
Royal
Infantry.
Royal Infantry.
That's it. Yeah, I mean, look, he's a very smart horse too. But they're sending the New Lion here. He's got speed. He's got stamina. He jumps well. He's probably going to be the one to beat. Regent Stroll could be anything at the same time, couldn't he? And Bill Joyce, who I know Scotty likes, I don't know if he's going to have his ground here on good to soft. I don't think that's going to enhance his chances by any means. So I think New Lion is the right favourite, and I think he'll take the beating. But look, come on, Wendigo. If we can hit the places here, that'd be superb.
Lovely. Scotty?
Yeah, we just wish Joe good luck with Wendigo. Obviously, we'll be cheering you on. If we don't have the winner, we hope Wendigo wins. I won't back Wendigo, just I don't want to jinx it. I do agree about what Joe said. I think the New Line and Regent Stroll are the two to beat. And Bill Joyce, again, I agree. I would have backed him if the ground had any soft or heavy in the description. That just puts me off. And I also think he's better going right-handed. I know he's won at Cartmel, which is a bit of a donkey track, but I just think he'd be done for a bit of speed here as well. I think Newbury's, like I keep saying, is a front-running course. Um, I know the New Lion and Regent Stroll were both ridden handy the last day, so you can guarantee they'll be up at the pace. But I've actually come down on a real big outsider at 20 to 1. Connections that won the race a few years ago, Stage Star, and it's hard to know. Um, who won at Market Raisin was always doing enough in front. I just think this kind of race could suit. And if there's other horses that, if they try and go from the front and they go quick, I think he could pick up the pieces and run into the frame and has a chance by Molinas, who traditionally has heavy ground 3 milers, the likes of American. Medina's won a Coral Cup in over 2.5 miles. So that doesn't worry me about the breeding. I don't think he's an out and out 2 mile kind of pedigree. I think he's screaming stayer, and I think this kind of Newbury course would suit him. But again, like Joe said, I think we're losing a lot of the field here, and I'd be taking a bit of 20s each way, thinking he's got a lot to find potentially. He might not be that good, but I'm willing to take 20s each way to find out. But out of the top two in the market, if I'd prefer the New Line. I just thought he was good the last time. Probably a more reliable jumper. I know Regent Stroll made that error last time. Just I'd have that in the back of my mind that Regent Stroll is a bit of a thinker potentially, and he could clatter one and he'd put himself out of the race. So that's the angle I got on the race. I think the New Line will probably win, but I'll have a few quid each way on. It's hard to know the Ben Pauling horse.
I am all over Regent Stroll here. He's coursing distant form. Last day on his maiden hurl, and he won his bumper here. I think the better ground, the better his chance. And exactly what you said, Scotty, just stuck in my head earlier on the Stevens Day. If Potter's Charm was good enough, he'd be here. And now he's going to entry. They know what they have at Regent Stroll. And I think I was impressed with the New Line the last day at Newbury, but I thought he would go way more than he did. And that's just me, what I saw the last day. You were on with the lads with watch along that day. I thought he would go way more, and that for me, even with his bad mistake at the last, he lows left Regent Stroll, and 2 to 1 to find out will definitely do me. So we'll final race we'll preview on the 28 is the 140 from Limerick, is the 2 mile 3.5 furlong Grade 1 Faugheen Novices Chase. We know Ballyburn here is priced up 11 to 10, but he's not running. So 6 to 4 Impere Pass, 4 to 1 Sam Majest, 16 to 1 Mirror Southwest, and 20 to 1 Search for Glory. Joe, we'll go back to you again. Is it just a simple 6 to 4 penalty kick for Sean Dunn's favourite horse in Impere Pass?
Yeah, he's got this one spot on, hasn't he? To be honest,
Yeah.
to him, like Ballyburn's not going to run here. Better Days Ahead's not going to run here. Croke
Mm.
Park's not going to run here. Stellar Story's not going to run here. I mean, the more you look at the race, that's an absolute steal, isn't it? The 6 to 4. I'd say he's one for your Ackers. I won't be backing him as a single, but if you want a little bit of a treble or something like that over the few days, I'd happily be chucking him in the mix here. I think again, like a few of these sort of horses over the Christmas period, especially for Willie Mullins, we'll find out now whether he goes to Arkle, whether he goes to the Browns, or whether they just skip the race altogether and then decide to go to Aintree or Punchestown, Ferryhouse, or all the rest of it. But I think this is going to be an easy day for Imperial Pass. I'm not a fan of Sam Majest. Don't think Mirazar West is any good at all. Never have done. Then you go a lot further down the field. You've got Farron Glory, Jordans, Waterford Whispers, Goodland. look, I mean, even when Goodland was at his best, Imperi Pass put him in his place at Cheltenham. So he's a good thing, isn't he? In the Faheen.
Yeah, Scotty.
Just exactly what Jay said. I think the ones that will be opposing him will be out the back of the telly, the likes of Farron Glory, who'll be running for his handicap mark. Sam Majest, nowhere near good enough. Imperi Pass just wins, and I think he wins by a long way. The only thing with him is he had to give him a good couple of slaps, Paul Town, and just to wake him up the last time. I think Limerick can be tricky. Some of those fences in the back straight. If he has a little look, he may give you a scare. But I think if I'm winning on the first couple of days over Christmas, I'll be playing a large percentage of my pot on Impere Pass. Put it that way, at 6-4. But I don't think you'll get that price on the day. You probably go off free.
No, he'd probably go off 1 to 2, 3 line exactly. 6 to 4 to find out in Anaka is totally what you're definitely right if you want to do an Anaka. Get to 6 to 4 now because he's definitely going to be odds on the day, but the amount to cut up in the race. So lads, the 28. Any Napos for the 28 or anything that catches your eye?
Imperi Pass, James. Too good. Too good in this field.
Scotty.
I'm going to nap Factor File. I don't think he gets beat by Gallopin. I think he's, like I said, I've said enough about him. I think he's just the best horse in the race now. Well, he will be after this. I think he'll go even money for the Gold Cup after this.
I have 3 extra for quickly for the 28. I'll tell you my Napo of the whole day, and the lads will laugh when I say it. So the 12:20 at Leopardstown on the day is the 2 mile 4 maiden hurl. There's a bit of, that horse that ran Navan, fell. Kate Doughty would
Yes.
probably run here, but I'm going to take him on because I think the best maiden hurl I've seen, and I was there at Punchestown and Moore again a day, was the one that was won by Butch Cassidy. The third came out, shuffled the deck, came out, naced the last day. So if Sir Manzarek runs here for the Rob Corps and Gordon Elliott, I think he'll take the world of beating. And in the 3:35 at Newbury is a 2 mile 6.5 limited handicap novices handicap chase. I'm all over if he runs here St. Davy for John Joe O'Neill. He was third, I think, on Chase debut. I think he's an absolute good thing if he runs here. But my Napo of the day to find out, because Willie Mullins will always put his good 3 mile Browns horse in this, and if he runs in the 120, he was actually entered in the Grade 1 against Better Days Ahead instead of sorry. If Key de Bourbon runs in the 120, there's your Christmas money. And once if you get over even money, even better. So Key de Bourbon is the one on the 28. So we'll
Love
quickly
him.
move
Love him
on
too.
to the 29th. We've only one race to preview, and it's a significant race. It's the Grade 1. It's now called, it used to be called the Matheson, wasn't it? Now it's called the Neville's Hotel, Grade 1, over 2 miles. And the favourite of 4 to 7 is State Man. 11 to 4, Brighter Days Ahead. 16 to 1, Mystical Power. 33 to 1, Daddy Long Legs. And 33 to 1, King of Kings Fleet. Right. I'm going to go first here. I think what I seen in Punchestown and what I saw in the parade ring, I know he still has to give £7 to Brighter Days Ahead and Brighter Days Ahead jump left, and it'll be better going left-handed. But to be honest with you, State Man was fat as a fool in the parade ring. He got there past Brighter Days Ahead and just blew up. They didn't really work on him, get him fit enough to beat Brighter Days. Obviously, he had a run beforehand. So to me, 4 to 7 is not a backable price, but I just think State Man will beat her. Joe, are you with me, or are you going to go with the mare?
Well, I'll tell you what, Jay, this is the race over the Christmas period where something just keeps niggling at me, saying State Man wins this all the time. He's so solid, and I love State Man. He's a ginger like me. He's by Dr. Dino. What's not to like? But I know everyone is saying their run the last day that State Man came there to win the race, and I understand that, and I know he didn't look fit in the parade ring. But I also think everyone's ignoring the fact that Brighter Days Ahead flattened, and I mean flattened 3 hurdles, ran through another 2, and she would have wanted to kick a little bit earlier for home, providing that she jumped them better. If she jumps better, I honest to God believe that she could have the beating of him again here. I know a lot of people are going to say, I'm mad, State Man came there to win the race. He may have, but he jumped. Well, he did nothing wrong. Okay, he was unfit. If she jumps better and she turns for home ahead of him, he is going to have an absolute hell of a job to pass her. That's how I see it anyway. I do honestly consider Brighter Days Ahead possibly beating State Man this year. I do. I'm going to put my neck on the line. I think brighter days ahead. But she's got to jump. She does have to jump. I must stress that. She
If
does,
she jumps better, Joe, I kind of agree with you. And you're kind of selling me now, small, but I suppose
but
it's
she
just what I
hasn't
saw at
jumped, man, has she?
Punchestown as well, and he came there to beat her. But I will say, I suppose, and you're going to agree with the statement. I'm going to stay here of state man, is that he's got his way a lot of the time over here.
Yes,
Do you
of
know what I mean?
course.
He's got his way at this Christmas meeting. It's been softer ground, and it looks like there's no rain forecast here. Now, I think there's a bit of rain around Friday, small bit, but nothing major that'll get into the ground. Hopefully, is it because of the case that he's got his way too long? And if she's exactly what you're saying, if she gets ahead of him, will he pass her?
She's good, James. She's
Yeah, yeah.
got her engine is it feels endless. Like it
Mm.
feels like she can just improve, improve, improve. Now I know I keep saying I think she'll win if she jumps better. She has to jump better. It's not a
Mm.
question at all. She has to jump better. But if she does, and she's jumping these hurdles well halfway around, then she's a very, very good mare. She's a very, very good mare.
Scotty.
Joe, you're a nightmare. You literally made me think now. I was swaying towards that State Man would reverse the form, but again, it's everyone's saying the same thing. He didn't have a run, he blew up and all that. Maybe she's just better than we think she really was because she had one below par run with a bad ride at Cheltenham. If she had won that race, she would be favourite for this race, arguably, after beating him the last day. I think. I think 11 to 4 is a cracking price. I'll probably just shove a few quid on her and just hope that she will get round and put a good jumping performance in because I think she could beat him again. I don't see why not. And those who are chasing losses over Christmas and get stuck in 4 to 7 state man won't be the most confident people. I can tell you that now. I'd rather be on her side and have a smaller stake than be lumping on state man. He's probably the most likely winner, but I'm with Joe. I'm kind of sitting on the fence, but I wouldn't be surprised if she won, Jamie. And that's kind of all I've got to say at the moment on the race.
I certainly think you'll see a few people cashing out their rackers if State Man's the last leg coming to
Yeah,
that
yeah,
panic.
100%,
It'll
Would you
panic.
100%.
would you give Mystical Power a chance again? Would you forgive him his last run?
I don't know. I don't know,
He-
Scott. I don't know what happened the last day. I can't figure it out. Whether something, nothing's came from it, has it? Nothing's been sort of
no.
aired
Mi-
about.
Mystical Power should be in the race with Home by the Lee, Bob Ollinger, and
Oh,
Hewitt.
that's such a good shout. That's
Yeah,
such a good shout.
should
You're
be in
right.
there.
Yeah.
Right, I have three extra for the 29th. I think on the Mare's hurdle, the grade 3 and the 120 at Leopardstown, I think a lot of Joy will take a lot of beating. I think she's finally learned how to jump, and I think she'll just go from the front. The 155 is a 3 mile Dare Manor opportunity handicap, obviously for conditional jockeys. This horse has course form, and it actually won the Mare's handicap hurdle there a couple of years ago on better ground. And I think it needs to 3 miles to jump better. And it's a horse for JP Man. It's called Ballybourne Belter. If it runs on the Friday, have a few quid on that each way. And in the 305 is a 2.5 mile listed handicap hurdle. It won the November handicap on the flat for JP Man again, but 12 to 1 to find out if Comfort Zone is better than a mark of 131. I will be backing that, and I'm going to back it now 12 to 1 Comfort Zone. So I think it's an absolute great steal each way. 12 to 1 is Comfort Zone in that race. So if you don't, lads, have anything for the 29th, I'm going to put you on the spot for the whole of Christmas, a nap, and a next best from you, Ginger Joe.
Big Westerner is my bet of Christmas, and my next best at this point in time would be Imperi Pass. I just think he's short, he's obvious, but I think it's a good thing. So, but the Big Westerner
Scotty,
is the one. I'm trying to get my
the big
Christmas money
Westerner
back.
nap, and a next best Imperi Pass for Joe. Scotty,
My nap at Christmas is going to be Below the Vassie and the future champions on the 27th at
Go on,
Leopardstown.
Scotty.
And my next best is going to be a horse I've not even mentioned, but he runs in the 12:10 on the day we just mentioned, the State Man Day. And that's in the maiden hurdle, and that's Argento Boy who will win. He finished second to the Big Westerner. I think this will be his race, and I think if you get anything better than even money, I would be loading the barrel.
I'm with Joe here. I didn't have the whole meeting. If you can get it on now, straight away, when you see this recording this evening, 6 to 4 Imperi Pass to the 14 is buying money. And I'll give you next best each way because the race is so bad. The Savills 3 mile hurdle. The King George winner, Hewitt at 6 to 1, is printing money. At 6-1, I think it'll win, and I think it'll win easy. Right, so that was our Christmas preview. I think we did it in about an hour and 20, which is very good for 4 days and three people. Uh, Thank you so much for all the support for the whole since we've started in October to Christmas. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. We're sponsored by Oddschecker. Thanks to our boss man, Ginge. Joe, the floor is yours for
Yeah,
the
no,
fans.
just the same, Jamie. Like, Merry Christmas to everyone that's tuning in. And like Jamie said, genuinely really appreciate the support we've got. Every week we're getting more subscribers, our views are going up. I hope you're enjoying the content as well. We're trying not to have it too long,
Mhm.
so but feedback is always welcomed. I can't do it without my two wingmen, Jamie and Scotty. They do make the channel. I couldn't sit here on my own and go through all of these races. It just makes no sense. And we've got a really good bond between us, and the fact we can all bounce ideas off each other. I just think we're gaining a really healthy relationship within the podcast. We're very good friends outside. So, look, again, thanks everyone for tuning in. Merry Christmas to you all. And Scotty, have you got anything to say as well?
No, I just wanted to say thank you to obviously to you for having us for the year again. It's been a great experience, and every single one seems to get quicker. The more we do them, they fly by. And just to echo what you said, I think we all talk racing, but at the end of the day, it's you gain friendships from it. And you two boys are two very good friends of mine. So long may it continue, and happy Christmas to us all.
Yeah, I echo what the lad said. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. We will be back maybe for a quick preview, maybe of the New Year's Day at Cheltenham, and maybe after that, if not, will be the Grade One. The one I'm looking forward to the most is the Grade One Lawlers of Naas on January the 5th. Thank you again. We are sponsored by Oddschecker. Thanks very much for all your support, and we will see you after Christmas.